The information and discussions shared on The Love Show are from personal accounts and experiences. Listener discretion is advised. This episode contains explicit language and frank discussions of adult themes or sexual content that may not be suitable for all audiences. Any communications, considerations, or recommendations are not a substitute for medical, psychological, or licensed professional help in wellness or recovery. Please seek a qualified practitioner regarding specific needs or concerns. We thank you and hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome to The Love Show, an exploration of love, romance, relationships, and sacred sexuality. This is your invitation to dive deeper into your innermost self and strengthen the bonds of love and intimacy. Jennifer Rose is an international psychic medium, transformational guide, channel, writer, and healer. With the help of fellow trailblazers, Jennifer's mission is to combine timeless wisdom and modern spiritual awareness to transform and evolve humanity, all while encompassing healthy transformative love, epic beauty, and divine connection. Now here is your host, Jennifer Rose.
Hello, good evening. I'm Jennifer Rose, and this is The Love Show, and we are on the Sacred Spiral Network. Welcome, everybody, and happy Monday evening to you. Here it is just about dinner time here on the Pacific Coast and early morning there over in the UK. So thank you all for joining us from all of your time zones. I hope you are doing well and had a fabulous weekend. It was Mother's Day over here in the US. So it was a big weekend of celebrating motherhood, which was quite a wonderful experience as well, too. So I see everybody's just popping in. So welcome, everybody. No Love Show would be complete without a Twin Flame episode. Absolutely. So I am so excited that in just a few minutes, I will be sharing all with you the lovely and wonderful Dr. Harmony, Twin Flame Expert. I've been following her for a long time. She's excellent and amazing. And so very exciting time to be able to celebrate her and bring her in to share all of her knowledge and wisdom with all of you. She is a best-selling author and so many wonderful opportunities here to share with all of you here today. A few quick announcements. We've got lots of shows here on the Sacred Spiral Network all throughout the week. This coming Friday on my sister show, Embracing Infinity, which is at 12 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. in the UK. I have my friend Colin Walker returning again, and we're going to pick up where we left off on the last show, where we were exploring the other side of affinity, and we didn't get to finish quite everything, especially our talk about how our star being friends are helping us with the ascension process as well. So please do join us. And next Monday on The Love Show, the one and only, our producer, Kelly Brickle, who is also a fabulous numerologist, will be joining us to talk about love numerology as well. So you don't want to miss that. So very excited for these two upcoming shows coming up. And as many of you know, I host a For the Love of Spirit Sunday spiritual service as well, with mediumship, healing, music, poetry, inspiration, lots of love. It's a very safe and loving space. So please do join us. Our guest medium is the wonderful and fabulous Lynn Juneau, who I know many of you know very well as well. And she also has a show on the Sacred Spiral Network, Kaleidoscope of the Soul. I do believe she will be airing this Friday before Embracing Infinity. So very excited to have her joining us again as our guest medium. And you can go to mediumjenniferrose.com to sign up and get the Zoom link. So we welcome and look forward to seeing you all. Thank you for listening as I go through all of these wonderful announcements here. Let me just take a moment to say hello to everybody. I want to say hello to Miss Jennifer McCormick. Thank you for staying up late with us, my friend. Good to see you all the way from the UK. It's 2 a.m. over there. That's love. That's a lot of love. So very excited to have Jennifer here with us as well. And then let me see here. Who else do we have? Monica Oling. Good to see you, Monica. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. And we've got Uh, Presh Pandey, thank you for joining us. I love your name. That's so cool. Hi, hello to you, and thank you for joining us here on the show. Great to see you as well. I see, let me see, Jackie is here as well. Good to see you, Jackie. Thank you for joining us. And Anne and Lisa are both here as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. Glad to see you. So I see we've got a lot of uh, lovers here as well today. Looking forward to sharing in the love. And I'm sure we've got a lot of people wanting and excited to learn more about twin flames. It's quite fascinating, absolutely, too. So good to see you, Jackie. Thank you for joining us here on The Love Show. So happy that you're here. This is a loving and warm, safe space for you. So welcome, welcome. We're not doing messages on this show, but we have so much to offer you. So please do stay with us. And thank you for being here as well. I also want to say hi to Sylvie Bennett. Thank you for joining us. Katie Newark. Thank you so much. I'm doing really well. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Evelyn Chesum. Good to see you, love. Thank you for joining us all the way from Solvang, California. Great to see you too. So we're all kind of making our way in there. And of course, Colin Walker, my friend over in the Czech Republic, is joining us. And again, Colin is going to be my guest on my sister show, Embracing Infinity, this coming Friday as well, too. So happy that you have all landed here in this space and are looking forward to learning more about love, relationships, twin flames, and this fascinating phenomena that has really found its way into the spiritual community and beyond. So let's get started and bring in the wonderful and fabulous Dr. Harmony, Twin Flame Expert.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. So excited.
And we're honored to have you as well. I've been very excited myself to have you as my guest, and I'm so grateful that we connected as well. I do believe you're joining us from Arizona. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, wonderful. Great to see you. So, well, I'm sure we have some twin flames in the audience that are excited to learn more about you as well, too. I'm going to go ahead. For those of you who don't know you just yet, I'm going to read your bio. And I know it's just a snippet of all that you do, but it will help us get acquainted with you. And then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, my friends. Dr. Harmony is a best-selling author, transformational mentor, and twin flame ascension expert who helps individuals break free from obsessive relationship patterns and reclaim their inner power. With nearly 30 years in holistic health and over a decade of online coaching, she blends spiritual insight, nervous system healing, and energetic transformation to guide people toward emotional freedom and conscious love. Oh, I love that. She is the author of multiple books on the twin flame journey and also hosts transformational retreats in Sedona designed to help women reset, regulate their nervous system, and reconnect with their authentic selves. Oh my, yes, we all need that. Okay. You can find Dr. Marie at twinflameexpert.com. She also has and we'll be showing this all to you in a little bit as well too. Her books and her Twin Flame Ascension card deck is available on her website as well. And we will be discussing a beautiful retreat that you have coming up too. So I want to make sure we give a shout out for that. And all of these links are in the Facebook and YouTube descriptions on multiple pages as well, and over on Instagram. We are streaming from Instagram today too, which is super exciting for us over here on the Sacred Spiral Network. And on Facebook, you can find her at Twin Flame Expert, as well as Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram. You made that nice and easy. It's just all across the line, Twin Flame Expert. And hello, Miss Vivian. Aloha from Hawaii. Thank you for joining us. Okay, my dear. Now, I know you have been doing this for many years. You have connections with our beloved Wayne Dyer, who all of us, know and love too. And so it kind of started back then, and you've been continuing to evolve yourself and grow and author books and help lots and lots of people on a very, very difficult path. Because as you said in your book, it's not just the contract, it's the contract plus what it does to your body, what it does to your brain and nervous system, and all of the things that you have to heal. So those people who are called on this journey are getting like a triple whammy, firestorm into them. And that's really hard to navigate. So thank you for helping so many people.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's been an honor. And I will say that, you can't talk the talk if you haven't walked the walk, especially on this journey. And so it's been my own personal journey that has set me on this twin flame paradox to show up and help other people, because I know I've lived it. I've lived every part of it. And I also know what it's helped me become. And that's a piece of some of my latest work has been about how to break that spell, take back your power, and become the flame. But to know that that person is really, it's more about the process than the person, and they become that catalyst for your own transmutation, which is alchemizing the part of you that's the shadows, so you can find more light within yourself. So it's been quite the journey, but it's also been very beautiful, and it's all about perspective of how you look at it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, it's hard for people who aren't on it to understand what it's like. So at least, for those who have joined us who are curious, they can get a little bit more of an idea. But sometimes people actually, they have a hard time believing that they exist, and then it happens to them and they go, oh, but it's a very mystical and paranormal experience. And I know because it blends and, it's got these parallels and these blends with, like you said, trauma bonds and relationships that are like attachment avoidance and codependent and addictive relationships. So there's all these layers and similarities too. But there are some things that are distinct in the relationship that set it apart. And I wondered if you could speak on that a little bit to share some of those characteristics, because it is a paranormal, mystical phenomenon, to say the least.
That's why a lot of people on the journey, they really do keep it hush hush, because they're afraid nobody's going to believe them and that nobody can understand. So they feel like they're alone out there on this journey. And that's been one of the things that's been my goal, is to help people feel like they're not alone in it, that this is a real phenomenon and that what you're experiencing is true and real. So one of the things that tends to happen on this journey is when you connect, it's very much an energetic connection. And the energy of the chakras and the energy templates, because we are energy beings, we tend to get activated through this journey. And part of the activation, and the point of the activation, is to elevate yourself into more consciousness, more awakening, more spiritual awakening. So a lot of people tend to see like the code 1111 just before, around the time this person shows up in your life, and then starts hearing and seeing and connecting to angel or angelic communication, starts having more awareness to higher consciousness and wisdom and language that they never even heard of before. But it starts like waking up something inside, that you start to speak something that, it took me like 20 years, I say, to kind of go through a process of getting to the level of the true awakening of this, because it's all about a spiritual awakening. It's about expanding your awareness and connecting to a higher version of yourself is the point. But when you go through that process and you're experiencing it, it feels so much like that person is your person. And I will say that through the history of time, what we've experienced through the history of information that we've been given, it is something that looks like it's the person. But on the flip side of that, that person is really just a mirror image of you, and that they're reflecting your shadows, your weaknesses, your pain, your wounds, your trauma, and they're triggering you in such a way to wake up what has been suppressed in your soul, so that you can bring that up to your awareness to see it, feel it, and then heal it in order to rise beyond it. And this goes even collectively from a standpoint of our ancestors, our lineage. So we're purging out all these things that we've been taught, that's even in our blood, in our DNA, and all the programs and conditioning and the cultures that we've adopted that is so unconscious within us that we're not even technically aware of that. And so with the history of what we've been shown twin flames to be, now more than ever in the history of time, more people are waking up to this whole twin flame phenomenon because more people are becoming more spiritually conscious than ever in the history of time that we've known time to be. And so based on that, we're learning new things about the dynamic. We're learning and understanding that it is an inside job, that it is obviously it's supposed to be about self-love. And a lot of people feel and connect it's to a purpose and a mission that you have jointly. But a lot of times that joint mission is really just you personally transforming, you personally healing. And to know that when one heals, we all heal. So collectively, this is a shift in time and history for us to move beyond lack, limitations, and things that we've adopted from the past so we can template and create a new future of how we go forward, and we're redefining relationships.
I love all of that too. And I think redefining relationships is very it's very now, it's very present, because so many of the the programs are falling away, and the structures and the way we look at the world and what we think is right or wrong or good or bad is all changing. And it's not just with the twin flame dynamic, but across the board there's so many new dynamics and fluidity among relationships and gender that's happening right now too. And so I can see like where this is going and bringing us. And you said a key thing, it's the energy. Like that's one of the key signifiers that you're in this journey or you're on this dynamic, is like, because that energy it's always there. It never goes away. You just learn to live your life with its presence, right? And learn to understand it and not maybe misinterpret it, because we can create a lot of stories out of the energy.
Yeah.
But
and what's really happening is it's waking up
yeah.
the energy dormant in you to help you remember who you truly are, and that you already are that person worthy, and that you deserve love, and that you deserve to experience the life that maybe you desire, but you've been going through all kinds of challenges. Because that's one of the key factors in this, is when this person shows up in your life, it's your whole life gets dumped upside down. And it's a matter of now resorting through what's no longer working for you, and where the problem comes in is resisting the change that it takes to transform how you've been and who you've been to who it's helping you become, and to shift into that version of you that is basically free and sovereign.
Exactly. And that's not an easy, it's a tall order, especially when you're going through this transformation, and then you have to work on the physiology of it and the chemistry of it too. And it is worth it in the end, but it's a tall order. And we all know transformations are painful. It just is. It's you're in that contraction, you're in the womb, and having your psyche challenged left and right for everything that you thought you believed and you thought was you, over and over
It's
and
an
over
identity
again.
change. It's literally changing identity.
Exactly. You will not be the same person in the end too. I can spot them, left and right, in the community. I'm like, oh, there's another one. Even though I know people keep it quiet, you learn to spot them pretty easily too.
Yeah.
But it does seem like there's a lot, and it seems like it kind of should be rare, but then at the same time, it's not actually that rare. Would you be able to speak on that?
Yeah, the history shows that it used to be less than 1% of the time, because it's all about self-mastery and personal development and spiritual growth. So it becomes that through a soul's evolution, the soul wants to grow and expand and evolve. And so when you reach a level of this kind of self-mastery, you've been around the block a few times in your soul's evolution, and you're coming to a place of purifying the soul, basically. So it creates a connection that literally goes within, and that's where the flame part comes in, and the chemistry of it, because the activation literally helps you awaken even the Kundalini energy, which is the sexual energy within yourself, awakens your chakras in a way that helps you basically set your soul on fire to purify what the soul has experienced in its evolution. And so back to kind of your question is, used to be less than 1% of the time you would like meet your twin flame in a lifetime, much less reunite with them, because that's how rare it was for the souls to be that evolved to connect at that level of maturity that you need to be in order to harmonize that within yourself, or bring balance to yourself to harmonize that in a dynamic with another person, because it truly is about sovereignty. It truly is about self-love. It truly is about you becoming the version of you that is stepping forward and going forward and glowing forward on fire in a way that you're in confidence and that you're whole and you're complete and you're healed. And so, in today's society, we're going through a collective shift in this. So that's why so many people are waking up to this phenomenon, that so many people are becoming more spiritually aware. So many people are doing this purging and clearing within themselves to also change humanity. And that's why more than in the history of time is there people waking up to this whole idea that, what is a twin flame? And I will have to say, I've been an energy healer and worked with energy for over 30 years. And when I woke up to the term twin flame, I had to contact all my spiritual friends and say, have you heard of this? Have you heard of this? Because at that time, like this was back in 2014, 15. So we've came a long way since even then. I was part of the pioneer of kind of opening a portal and moving beyond like a concept that this was rare into now it's kind of becoming more mainstream, basically. Yeah. And it's one of those things that nobody gets out of it. You have to go through it. It's like it's the metamorphosis process, really, and there's no way out of it but through it. And so anyway, coming through this process, a lot of times you don't really know about it or hear about it, but I will say that's becoming more common. But you don't really sometimes know about it or hear about it until you're ready to awaken to that term, till you're ready to take responsibility of your own self in that dynamic, and that you're ready to do the work, the inner work it takes to step into that higher conscious love that it truly represents.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do feel that that the twins are part of the ascension process. They're helping to basically amplify the frequency, because the twins are being forced to do so much work that they have to raise their frequency. They have to amplify themselves and come into that love and learn about love and unconditional love. And now that there's so many of them, that's, in addition to many other beings out there that are elevated in different ways, are really helping with that ascension process as well too. It's interesting because it is possible that you can meet your twin flame before you meet your twin flame. So the energy can be activated even before you know who they are, if that makes sense too. And I had never heard of the term either. But the term that kept coming to me was eternal flame. I think that goes a little farther back in history too. So that was the one that spirit was channeling through me, was that. But then I know it changed, I think with, I forget her name. There was another channeler back in the 80s who I believe came up with a twin flame, but they both work, of course, but it was just interesting how that all sort of played out with that too. But, and you're so correct that it's not something you can control. You have to go through it. And it's like trying to resist going through it is just going to be more painful. So you can't control it as much as you think you want to, because you're like, I want out of here. I want out of this. This is terrible. Right. And maybe the people around you try to get you out of it too, because they don't believe in it and they don't like what it's doing, to you and to the structures around you and so forth too. But it is truly something that has it's bigger than you. Right. Oh, yeah. And so then our responsibility then is to follow the soul and do the work.
Yeah. That's why it's also divine and synchronistically organized from a higher self, the higher planes. And it really boils down to soul contracts of what we came here to be, do, have, experience, and to help assist humanity with. So it's part of the plan. I always tell my clients, we forgot to read the fine print of what we signed up for because it's very intense. That's to say the least.
You will die many deaths in your twin flame journey.
Yeah, many deaths. That's correct.
Oh my goodness.
And it's painful deaths, especially when you fight that process and you're fighting the resistance of letting go of a version of you that's trying to die, because that's where the rise of the phoenix comes into this. And that's where even the flame of the phoenix is like the rise of the phoenix. And you're totally right. This is all an ascension journey. And it's all about the ascended version of you emerging into this higher version of you, the greatest, grandest version of you that came here to live out a life of fulfillment, live out the peace, love, harmony that we tend to hear that this journey experiences. But that's like all at the end. That's the prize at the end. And at the end of that, you can't have that with another person if you can't find it in yourself first.
Absolutely. It's a very different from, it's the rule breaker of all relationships for sure.
Right.
We had a question from one of our guests, Vivian. Do we only meet one twin flame in our lifetime? That comes up a lot. Do we have more than one twin flame? Does everybody have a twin flame? That question comes up a lot, actually.
So, all right, there's a lot of layers packed into that. So obviously the word twin flame is twin two, right? And it's you and your beloved. That is technically what everybody's searching for when they think they're searching for a soulmate. And soulmates are much more harmonious. It's more like we're going to have a house with a white picket fence and we're going to live happily ever after and have 2 kids and everything about us just flows so easy. Well, twin flame is actually a teacher. and people's like, oh, I want to find my twin flame. I'm like, no, you don't. I'm like, no, you don't. And plus, you don't have to find your twin flame. They find you, because it's all in the energy and the alignment. So it goes towards the frequency of your own energy and the signals you're sending out, and to know that you're attracting an experience. And you're attracting the people that you need to create the experience for you, to create the healing you need to heal the trauma bonds, basically, from all the past. Yeah. And so the thing about that is, when you really look at that, the whole world is your mirror. So a twin flame is a mirror reflection of you. And while, there technically is one soul that becomes your other version of you, or your other half, so to speak, or the half that complements you in the best ways, only do you truly align with that one is when you become the one. Because then you're going to mirror the version of you that is heal and whole. And otherwise, you are mirroring to you trauma bonds. You're mirroring to you the catalyst that feel like a twin flame experience. And that's more intense than a normal soulmate connection, or even technically could be a real, true version of a twin flame. But for me personally, I say I've lived it out in a revolving door. And I've also lived it out where there's almost like 2 people showing up at the same time. And what I've discovered in that is the reflecting duality and contrast for me. So one might, like, say, I'll give you an example of one, is that one might be experienced where I need to learn how to listen. And the other one is I need to learn how to speak. And so it's always the same lessons, so to speak, but they're giving you an opportunity to find balance in yourself, because what this whole journey is about, the inner balance of you. And so it really depends on the level of growth that you're willing to go through this. So if you have one person show up and you're so stuck on it being that one person, and you're not letting go of the idea that they could be a catalyst and all they're doing is helping you discover you, and you're clinging to that, then what you're doing is you're not evolving and growing like the journey is supposed to help you to get you prepared. And so that's why I call them ascension teachers, even though they play out like twin flame dynamics. And then we have the false twin flame that we've heard about. We have the true twin flame we've heard about. We've had twin flame teachers. So there's been so many things evolve in the time that I've been doing this that's beyond what we ever were taught. But it's because at the end of the day, it all reflects us. And so it really depends on you, your journey, what your soul contract is, what you need to experience, what you need to heal, as to if you have one person show up and help you with this, that you then within yourself find who you are and then you work it out and you harmonize together. Or you could be like me and have an entire bucket. So in that, I always say, that's where, the stronger we are, the harder the smacks. So I've had a lot of smacks on this journey, but I also know that I've lived it out based on my soul contract to be here, share, show, because this has been, with my science background, this is a very scientific relationship based on energy, quantum physics, how it aligns in the polarities and the dynamics of masculine, feminine energy within, and then how that dynamic comes together in the polarities, how you map out what they're doing for you, not to you, so to speak. And in that process, the ultimate goal in that is, if you want the ultimate relationship that this promises, you have to create it with yourself first. And so don't attach to a person, and think of this as a process, not a person, that will get you through it faster than it will be if you stay stuck on this one person that technically is keeping your abandonment wounds, keeping you separate for what you want, keeping you in the loop, which I call the twin flame maze. And if you get in that maze and you stay in that maze and you stay stuck in this whole one person concept, then technically you're drowning in the process, and you're prolonging the ability to actually experience what you want.
Absolutely. It's you have to just let go of it all. And it's such a
Creates a lot of
paradox.
trust and patience, which is everybody's mastering that lesson.
It's such a paradox, because if you're actively trying to let go, then you're actually in a more resistance. But it's like even letting go of the letting go, and just following, almost like into the unknown of like not knowing where it's all going to lead you to. And what I found also is that it's the illusion of separation that causes a lot of the suffering that we're feeling too. And so when you realize that you have a twin, it's like you can't get caught up in the relationship dynamics, because they're not the same, and that person's a mirror of you anyway. So what's the point in getting into the the dynamics and the this and that, unless you're kind of enjoying the drama of it all. But if you can go above the romance and the story playing of that is something higher. There's just a higher love, and that's beyond the illusion of separation. And so if you can just remember that you're not truly separate, that helps. It helps with the suffering or that magnetism that you have to learn to manage. That makes sense.
And one of the things I really teach people, and that as well, especially in like, say, an everyday real world concept, is that you think you want the person, but you really want the version of you that's coming out in that person. You really want what it is they're bringing to you, that you're experiencing with them. And you're treating it like they're the only one person that could ever do that for you. And so what you need to focus on is what it is you like about what they bring to you, what it is that they show up with what you want. But it tends to, a lot of times, that's where the bubble love comes into this, because they come along, they show you this higher version, they activate you in such an energetic way. You fall into that bliss love, you fall into the feeling, and they're the first ones that's truly acknowledged you. And then that you want that, you cling to that, and that brings up the idea of you're separate from it, because it takes that person to give it to you, when you have to find it inside. And that heals the separation, because once you heal it within, you're not separate from it, and it's not even the person.
Exactly. All that love you feel is inside of you.
Yeah.
It's you, right? And but you're where we attach it to the other, but all of that love actually is existing in you as you are, and that magnetic attraction is you. Like that's your
Yes.
energy you're
It's
attracting
your
to yourself.
energy. That's right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly too. But the mind just wants to attach it like, oh, it's it's that. But it's a beautiful energy at that for sure. We also have another question. Do they always show up as lovers? Because sometimes there's, in the land of all of the obstacles that are thrown twin flames, the big age gaps, the relationship hurdles, the distance, the genders, all of that too. So can they show up as a different relationship?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean,
Great
it can
question.
be down to a dynamic with the work partner, that has to do with some kind of a business connection. That goes back to what I was saying is the whole world is your mirror. And so the other piece of this is if you become the runner and you don't face whatever it is you're to face within yourself with this person showing up, you will attract the same experience with somebody else, and whether it be in a relationship or a non-relationship. So it's people and partners of all sort that mirror to you your own ability and your own dynamics of how you show up in a relationship. And so definitely does not have to be technically a lover at all. In fact, even parents, child can have a dynamic like that. Friends, even siblings can have these types of dynamics as well. So the other thing about that is, especially when it comes to, say, sexuality and gender roles and things like that, love knows no boundaries. So love is love. It doesn't really care about the gender or the age or the race or like all the things. It just knows that you have a connection, and at the end of the day, you've attracted this person based on what you need to experience. And from a scientific standpoint of that, you both have a certain frequency that is emitting from your own self, your own soul, and through the field of energy, the quantum connection that is attracting what you need to give each other the experience that you need for you both to find the inner balance.
Yeah, that quantum entanglement is a crazy thing, isn't it?
That's a whole real phenomenon in itself, right?
Whole down wonderland.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Oh my gosh. The synchronicities and the complementary factors too.
Yeah.
You're right. Love has no boundaries. It will break them all down. It breaks the rules. Love is sovereign in all of this
That's
too.
right.
Like it is the leader of this journey, as much as our little personalities want so much to say we're in charge.
Yeah, right.
You know,
And the
it's
minute we think that is when
yeah,
we usually, have to go through something to kind of break that ego down, because it is also an ego
yeah,
death going through this process,
yeah, yeah.
which is breaking the
Um,
identity and the lack and the limitations of who we've believed ourselves to be. And so we're literally creating new belief systems in this process, and that's very challenging.
yeah. Belief systems are always painful to break down, and there's so many of them. I don't think we realize how much programming we actually have until it starts to
Mhm.
fall away, and then there's always more. It's
Yeah,
like a never-ending
right.
process of, oh, I thought that was me. Well, no, not exactly.
Well, that's what a lot of people do on this journey is they think it's some
Mhm.
race and they think there's a finish line, but it's not. And so I always say it's not what you do, it's why you do what you do, because it's the
Yeah,
energy infused within what you do that's creating your response back. That's what's attracting to you. So if you're showing up for this thinking you're going to get this work done and push and do all the driving, and that you're going to create more trauma and resistance in yourself, that it's outside of you, that you're going to do the work so you can get them to still show up and do the things you need, you're just in a cycle that's continuing that cycle. It's going to
yeah,
continue. It's you being able to know that it's not how you it's not that these circumstances are ever going to go away, or these situations. It's how we learn how to navigate the challenges that matters. And that's what the journey is about. We're creating new coping mechanisms, and we're creating new methods of how we show up and operate in our daily life. Because what happens in this whole journey and this whole connection leading into the trauma of it, because it's definitely attacks and it causes the nervous system to also be on overload. So our bodies are on overload through this process, through all the little micro traumas we go through, the emotional traumas, and we suppress things. And as we've not learned how to connect to our emotions or create emotional intelligence of who we are and how we show up and how we love and how we can honor both sides of ourselves, and we reject a part of ourselves because we judge that side, then that's also creating separation from us and a part of ourself that we're trying to collect to create that wholeness. And then by creating that wholeness, then we're bringing all that love, that energy back to ourselves so that we can become whole and healed, and then show up from a place of truly loving who we are and not making anybody responsible for what our needs are, because we tend to put our needs on somebody else in this, which is part of the breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah. I think ultimately, because you're right, I think at beginning it's like everything you're doing is about the goal of trying to like achieve union, and it's so heavily romanticized out there on social media and everything. And but eventually, it's like your freedom comes from letting go of the achievement or the end or the like I'm trying to get that. And if you're doing it to get that, it's not the same as doing it for you, because you decided for you that you're whatever this half of this mirror is going to do this for you to be the best that you can be as well. And hello to everybody who's joined us. Thank you for being here too. And it I wanted to ask you too, because of the energetic quantum connection, it feels like a good idea that regardless of whatever happens with your twin, whether you're with them, whether you're not with them, whether you're talking to them or you're not talking to them, if you're taking the best care of you, then it also helps the other as well too. So just like I would want to take care of myself for my family, to be here for them in the best capacity, to live as long as I can. It's kind of the same for them too, if that makes sense. So it gives you a reason or a motivation to be your best you, your healthiest you on all levels, so that you know that you have this, invisible harmony, if that makes sense, within the energy. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that goes back to, though, it's not what you do, it's why you do it. If you're doing it for that reason, then that's not the right reason either. But because of the dynamic showing up in a sense of polarity and contrast to you, to show you sometimes what you don't want, and you don't really know what you want until you can see what you don't want.
Yeah.
Until that contrast appears, or until they show up in that place, you may not know exactly what you're wanting or what you need to heal, because that's why they're mirroring to you that. And so instead of pointing the finger to them or doing it because you think, because I've seen a lot of times where people will try to do the work to heal the other person, like you're saying. And technically, for their true healing, they can only heal at the level they're willing to heal when they're ready. And you might be mirroring that to them, what they need, because you will, but it doesn't mean that they're ready to take that action within themselves or to own that part of themselves. And so a lot of times in this, somebody carries like the heavier karmic load is what I call it, meaning they have more karma to clear. They're not ready to fully embrace themselves or awaken to themselves. And that's where the runner chaser starts coming in, because once you show within the self, so it's so true that like you don't just gain out of it through that polarity. You came together for you both to see something. And so that person is getting something regardless of whether they fully see it or not. But 9 times out of 10, they're seeing it, they're getting it, and they're actually taking the action they need to. And then a lot of times this happens with divine feminine, divine masculine being the male, female. It doesn't have to be male, female, because it's energy. But a lot of times, say the masculine or a man will show up and you give them a love that they've never experienced, and they don't know how to receive that love. And so for them, what you've done is mirrored to them, I can't give you what you need because I'm not even healed and whole and can't, I have now things I got to work on, and I haven't dealt with my own shadows, and I haven't dealt with my own life and cleaned up the things in my relationship or my life that needs to come to closure so I can then find me. And what that feminine usually wants is, like, they get awakened, they want the person, and they get really upset that that person hasn't done the work in their life and taken the actions they need to step into themselves. But even then, if these men in those cases, if a lot of them I've seen, they've been in like 20 plus year relationships, they've been controlled by a woman, and they've never found their own power. And so they can't jump from that, ending that, into a relationship with you just because this is cosmic. They need to go off and they need to find themselves. And technically, when they do that, they're showing you what you need to do for yourself, but you are taken as the rejection, the abandonment.
Yeah. Yeah, so true, so true. And yeah, I absolutely agree. It's not our job to take on the responsibility of healing the other, because that's when we're going into codependency. Just in being the best you can be to help. That also just helps to maintain the harmony within the energy, if that makes
Yes.
sense. So it's win-win all around too.
And the way you can look at this is know that this is
Yeah.
happening for you, not to you. Because the minute you go into blaming, pointing fingers, feeling like that, they're the problem, it's really not anything to do with them at all. It's everything
Yeah.
in you that's creating it.
Yeah, it's just more separation. So it gets you back in the separation loop, absolutely too. And so, but boy,
I think we just opened up like a little can of worms. Like it gets so much bigger.
Yeah, I know. The whole runner chaser thing is crazy town too, and it's like because it seems like there's a lot of the attachment avoidant dynamic in there too, plus more too, and the hard part is also, like you said, and I think this would be a good place for us to go, is the nervous system and the brain, because a lot of times what happens with the runner chaser is usually the feminine is the one who gets caught in the dopamine loop, because they're getting this sort of intermittent attention, and that gets the brain and the nervous system caught in this like dopamine loop that they may or may not have experienced before too. And then you have to heal that. So you have to get your nervous system and your brain to learn to regulate, to be healthy. And that even goes into taking really good care of your physical self too. What could you offer to help with that? And I do believe that's part of the retreat that you have coming up as well too, because that's a big factor in healing, surviving, maintaining, moving forward, and thriving after you've went through all this.
So let's start with the nervous system for a second as we work through this, because that's unpacking a lot. But our nervous system in general, even as a whole in society, is burnout right now because of all of what we've went through. And you're right about the dopamine and all the endorphins that they've been activated, which is a true phenomenon in itself that is creating chemical addiction. So it's like that person is becoming your addiction, and it will bring out all your addictions in you that you can't control. So a lot of times when it comes to the nervous system, it's that fight or flight that's coming up. And so people have lived so much in survival mode because of all the wounds that we're talking about, and they've built these walls of protection around them. And so they don't want to let it down. It's like, well, I'll let it down after he XYZs, right? But no, that doesn't how it works. You can't have XYZ until you've learned how to come into a place of healing yourself, to even be there, to soften your energy, to be receptive, to be in your feminine energy, to receive what it is you actually want.
Yeah.
And so for women, this is about them coming into their more feminine energy, or let's say the divine feminine, because it doesn't mean it's energy. It doesn't have to be gender. Yeah. The masculine is about them coming into more of the power. And so women have been in so much control due to the fight or flight mechanism that has had them fighting in survival mode nonstop, as if a tiger's chasing them. And the tiger is no longer chasing you, but the nervous system recognizes it as constantly being chased still. There's constantly a threat.
Yeah.
And so people are going into the fight, and the fight's coming from the resistance to this letting go, to connecting to a different energy. And then the flight is where you want to run from that. You want to leave this trigger because it is triggering what's familiar to you actually, but we're trying to familiarize yourself with a new way of being in your nervous system. Yeah. And so we can fight, flight, or even freeze, where we get into a state of stalling and not doing anything because we don't even know what to do or where to go. So in that place, what's really important is to take accountability for yourself in a way that you learn coping mechanisms on how to get calm and centered and grounded in your own self, how to feel safe. Because what this boils down to, why everybody's in survival mode, is they don't feel safe, they don't feel secure, and they don't feel stable. And they want that from outside themselves, but they won't allow anybody from the outside to come in. And due to lack of trust and all the traumas, you're holding that so tightly within that it's constantly keeping you in the fight or flight. So breath work works really good to get the body calm, get the body centered. Definitely chakra balancing, energy healing, those sorts of things. But one of the things that I've been shown through my own personal journey, and that's why I actually moved to Sedona, Arizona 3 years ago, was to get back into helping people, and even more so women, because women are the ones that are needing to feel this safety, to be receptive of the masculine they want to show up. And so I was shown to get back into community, connection, collaboration, where I would literally be in the physical presence of helping people heal this physically, because it's also trapped. It's where everybody talks about the embodiment. It's trapped in the body. And so what I've been helping people do over the last 3 years is release this out of the body. And then moving further into helping them re-regulate and reset the nervous system through the retreats I've been doing. Now, you mentioned like a retreat coming up. And what I will say about that is this has evolved so quickly, so fast with the need, that I moved beyond a few group retreats that I've already done this year into solo private retreats that are all inclusive, in order for people to have a safe container, a safe place through regulation, and my 30-year background of nervous system regulation with my chiropractic background of 30 years, to help women feel safe, to get out of survival mode, to reset the nervous system, to open up, to actually transform. Even in a few days that I work with them, they literally is life-changing for them to learn how to feel like what it feels like to feel calm, to feel centered, to feel grounded, and to let go of this wall of protection and to stop fighting the process, so that they can find that security within. They can trust the process. They can soften their body and their mind and truly feel just a sense of calmness and peace
that they may have not felt in a very long time.
If ever.
Yeah.
If ever.
Yeah. And I love that so much, because, and you don't have to have a twin flame to benefit from that. That can benefit so many people.
Yeah.
Yes, Kim is saying this is important. It's definitely very important too. Our community, especially the spiritual one, as you know, is very empathic, very sensitive. And typically people who get called and, are healers and intuitives, and that usually means they've been through a lot. They've had a lot of trauma. And my wall just knocked really loud. Thank you, Spirit.
About the empaths, that when empaths are affected more so because of their own inner wounds. And so because of their own wounds, then when they show up in these dynamics or these experiences or helping other people heal, and they absorb that energy, all that's doing is triggering the wound that's still there. But when you fully heal that wound inside, you're no longer absorbing other people's emotions and energy, because what it's doing is only mirroring what you still have inside that you haven't healed.
Yeah, exactly. And like there is life after empath, of it's like where you're no longer worried about walking into our store anymore. It's just learning how to master your energy. And so it's worth it for everybody to just decide to do the work. Just
Right.
decide, it's not about changing who you are. It's not that you're not perfect as you are in this moment, but there's so much more to
Yeah.
discover. Yeah. And so many more experiences that you can have that won't be in that same loop again and again and again. So
Mhm.
we can choose Groundhog Day, or
Yeah.
we can choose stepping into the unknown. We can
Well,
choose
it's
stepping
all about
across the
breaking a
threshold.
cycle. Right. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's about breaking the cycle and
Yeah.
learning how to implement new thoughts, feelings, actions, and emotions that are moving us forward in the new version of us versus staying stuck in the old paradigms and old dynamics.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And illusions are sticky, as I like to say, but it's worth it to just we're gonna get unstuck. We're gonna get unstuck. Now I know you've authored several books, and so we're gonna show everybody um, those as well too. So we're gonna show everybody what Dr. Harmony has written over the years about twin flames, because you really have a long history of expertise and so much to share. So, as Brian's saying, he's our divine masculine here tonight. Thanks for being here, Brian. Do the work.
Do the work, yeah. That's good. Good advice, Brian. That's good advice.
It never ends. You're always finding more work to do, but that's okay. It's just keep chugging along, everybody. Okay. So I know our lovely producer, Miss Kelly Brickle, is going to show us some photos of your books as well too here. And thank you as well, Vivian. Okay. So this is your first one, Twin Flame Codebreaker.
Yes. Yes. That has been coined the Twin Flame Bible.
I have that one as well.
You have that one? It was probably the first. That's how you connected with me, right? Originally?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's also in Spanish. So it's been translated into Spanish. But that book was a lot of my journey and awakening to the whole idea and how all the signs, synchronicities, the codes, the history that we've been shown, but then putting it all into context and also showing how it's biblical and connecting to there is biblical this is a biblical concept. And for us to truly understand the history, this would be a history book in Twin Flames.
I love that. So definitely we need the history book too. And I love your background because you've done so much research, but you've also combined all of the elements of everything else that you've done, like your chiropractic work and everything, to like make this something that actually is going to help people transform, not just heal, but truly transform into a better life too. So I love that. Okay, let's look at book number 2. And you can purchase all of these on her website and Amazon as well. Okay, this is your Oracle deck. Okay, so you have your own Twin Flame Oracle deck. I love it.
Yeah, so this was part of the first book. It was all coming into me at the same time. And what happened was I was seeing so many people just show up out of left field and started working with people from all over the world. And I wasn't even marketing. It was just like one of those divine synchronicities. And I was able to spot them in a heartbeat. And so I started teaching them the whole concept of ascension. And I had this idea of I need some cards to like show people what this journey is in a card form and in illustration form. Well, when that happened, there was not a Twin Flame Oracle deck. There's a card, but not a deck in the whole market back in 2016. And so I instantly knew through my own guidance that I was really kind of birthing something here that was something coming through me to share with people to help them, basically, like it says, the Take Me Home Oracle. And what that really means is you are going from fear to freedom through this journey. And that at the end of the day, you are the Oracle. It's not outside of you. And so that's what Twin Flame Ascension is taking you from fear to freedom and your own sovereignty and finding self-love. And so I actually had, through a long story I won't say here, but connected with Tatiana Hassan, who was from Bogota at the time, moved to Canada now. Our journeys and our paths crossed, and she became the artist and the illustrator of these images that have mandala. They're based with mandalas and energy. Under layers of these images are enlaced with energy, and people that look at these cards get activated within itself just because the energy that's in the images.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. I mean, even just the cover itself, it captures the mystical aspect of the twin flame because, and the beauty of the swans and the two colors as well too. And when I look at this, it reminds us, as difficult as it is to have this, show up in your life too. It's also incredibly beautiful too
Yes.
because it's a love beyond love. It's above romantic love. It's
Mhm.
a very high frequency kind of love too. And I feel like this captures the beauty. We
Yeah.
can't leave the beauty of the relationship either because it's
Yeah.
both ends of the spectrum of challenging and beautiful.
Right, which
Yeah.
represents the black and the white swan, the contrast,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Lots of contrast.
Yeah.
Oh my
I do
goodness.
that to be 2 white swans, which I will say is I made 2 images of that, 2 white and a black and white, and I was teetering as I was putting this all together, and then at the end, right at the end, right when the publishers started to actually need the final card, I was like, "Okay, no, this is a black and a white swan."
Yeah, it is perfect. It is perfect, and the black is, it's the womb. It's where we grow. It's where we give
Mhm.
birth to our the
Your light in
many
that
new us's as we die over and
yeah.
over again.
Well, we find our light in that darkness too.
We sure do. That's where the treasure lies. So it's like
Mhm.
you want the treasure, you gotta be able to go into the dark to get
That's right, that's right.
it. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, Twin
Yeah.
Flame Confessions. Tell us about this one. This looks very Kundalini. Look at this
Well,
swirl. It's
this
like it's
yeah,
sexy. That's very sexy.
yeah, this was, so this is really deep in this one. So, basically, I worked with a group of people for about 2 years, and most of these people that are in this book and their journeys, and this goes back to what we said, a lot of people don't wanna share their story because they're afraid of what people are gonna think, and so
Yeah.
this whole book, this whole idea, I started because of my own journey of being an author. People have a story to tell, and they didn't know how to tell their story. They don't know how to be a
Mhm.
writer, an author, how to get that published, so that's one of the things I've since started teaching people how to plan, write, and publish their books, but in this is where I've got several people and share their stories of love, loss, and lessons to show the journey through the experiences of other people to show how your story matters because people don't think their story matters, but these stories in here are really deep. They also follow that fear to freedom concept of, the couple at the end, which happens to be a personal friend back in St. Louis, of a 50-year journey of the person she was married to 50 years prior, and been married for 30 something years, and the husband died, and then she comes back around to her first husband 50 years prior, and they took their journeys to come back together in this new way, and it's just a beautiful story. And it talks about the shadow stories, talks about the beautiful stories, talks about the transformation of being able to see the love. I also wrote about my son and his twin flame that's in here, and people often say, like, well, how's your son with his twin flame, because most twin flames don't harmonize. I said, because I did the work for him, so he didn't have to. So because we're clearing that. So I'm cleared
Yeah.
so much, and he had his own clearing to do, don't get me wrong. But him and his wife have the most beautiful, beautiful relationship.
Mm.
It's they're twin flames. They even look alike, like the whole typical twin flame. And they live a life of twin flames where everywhere they go, they make a statement, and everybody's magnetically connects to them. And they just have this beautiful journey. And so there's stories in there as well. So
Oh, I love that because, like you said, most don't end up harmonizing, so it's nice to know there's a few happy endings.
yes, yes, that's why it's on both sides of it.
Yeah, I love that, I love that, and beautiful cover too, it really captures
Thank you.
it captures it, beautiful. Okay, let's look at the next one.
Ooh,
Twin Flame Obsession, there's the mirror and the phoenix. That's pretty accurate.
yeah. So this book is my latest book, came out last summer. And what I would tell you is from all the books, like in the first book, I was channeling Wayne Dyer, you were talking about, had such a connection
Mhm.
with him, which yesterday was his birthday, Mother's Day,
Oh,
a whole story about that I won't go into, but he was my spiritual mentor. And basically, I learned so much from him about this whole journey of ascension that I was programmed with all this anyway, this whole spiritual awakening concept. So, anyway, through that journey, though, I did a lot of downloads. I did a lot of, I was just channeling, and I was bringing in wisdom and information from guidance that I was just the vessel for. But when I got to this book, and I wrote this book, which came out really fast, even though I had a lot. This book went on a lot of directions for a long time, but whenever I sit down and pulled out of it to go back into it, it reformed in a whole new way. And I was writing this and I'm like, where is this coming from? What is this? And, I was even reading it after it was written. I was editing and reading it. And I realized something that hit me. This is my voice. This is me in that healed version of showing up, being the flame, and like stepping out to really have like stepped away from the maze and truly be in my own power and truly show up from a place of I am the flame, and like I'm whole, I'm healed, I'm one with myself, and I'm breaking all those illusions and all that identity of everything in the past and breaking those spells and taking back power. And so this was really my journey of how I did that.
I love it. It's true. You're whole and complete as you are, as you,
Mhm.
in you,
Yes,
with or without.
that's right.
Yeah, I
That's
love
right.
it. That's beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. I know exactly what you mean because I channel as well too. So then when I have to write something from my own voice, it's a different experience.
Yes.
And you will see some similarities in there too, but it's definitely like, oh, this is very different than just channeling.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I know
and
exactly what you mean.
I've had people read the very first Twin Flame Code Breaker that also read this
Yeah.
one. Well,
Yes.
obviously they needed that for wherever you are is what you need, and it will show
Mhm.
up what you need. But back then, a lot of the people, even you were one of them, that read that book that answered so many questions, gave all
Yeah.
the wisdom, made you feel like you weren't alone, made you feel like there's a real journey. But then I've had people that have followed me all these years still read this book and can't even get past the introduction without just bawling through the whole thing. And this book has literally touched so many people that just reading it creates the whole transmutation within yourself because you're seeing yourself in the reflection of the journey I share in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being a guide for so many people and helping them to heal and transform. So you truly are, a visionary and really a big player in this ascension process
Yeah.
too. So and I did get a copy of yours too. It's very well written. It's very beautiful. Too, so I highly recommend it for everybody too, whether you're curious or you're trying to work on your own journey of leveling up and moving forward and healing. It's worth the work. It's worth the work to
Mhm.
become all that you can be and all that you were meant to be as well, versus staying in Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Too. So, could you please tell us about your retreat coming up? I just want to make sure
Oh
we
yeah.
highlight that.
Okay, so basically, I kind of mentioned this, but
Mm.
I it's not one retreat anymore. It's a series of ongoing retreats that is personalized and solo
Okay.
that I have where when people reach out to me, we book the
Um,
dates.
okay.
I have a blueprint that's set up for a nervous system reset and a detox, where
Hmm.
you come to what I call soul hospital here, because 30 years ago as a chiropractor, I saw myself helping people in a
Hmm.
sanctuary. I've created a room called the exhale room. And in that exhale room, you truly get to let down, you truly get to feel nurtured, you truly get to receive in a way that you are letting down, and the ability to like just pause, to like let go. And so it's not any one certain time. It's literally
Oh, I got it.
just we schedule
Mhm.
the time and we set it up, and I personalize it and we schedule the dates. So what you can do is you can reach out to me should that be of interest to you. And you can even reach out at Dr. Harmony at twinflameexpert.com, or you can go on the website and see information about the retreat. And when you do that, we can set up a clarity call to just see what it is that maybe how I could support you, and then we could design something that works for you.
Oh, I love that. So it's an ongoing availability for people to come in and have a really personalized experience. That
Yeah.
sounds beautiful. That
Yeah.
sounds
It's part of my
so
journey
perfect.
right now. I don't know how long I'll do that, but it's where I'm at and what I'm being shown is needed. And that's how I tend to show up, is
Yeah.
however and wherever I'm needed, I just get an alignment. And I even have my own journey over the last 2 years of, the alignment of where am I best served? What I have to offer, where's it best served? And so this has been the part that has shown me that that's where I'm needed the most right now.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, because you spread yourself far and wide to help so many in so many ways too. So I'm so grateful and appreciative for that too. Thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom and expertise. You're very eloquent as you speak, and we can understand everything that you're saying. It's very informative and helpful as well. So I know we didn't just you always say, like, if you help one person, you've done a good job. Like, I know, like, this is going to continue to help many, many people, as it gets, replayed in the future and so forth too. So I'm so very happy and grateful
Thank
to
you.
be a part of it too. And thank you to all of our friends and guests who have joined us. And I've been seeing all of your beautiful comments and all of the support and the love that you've given as well too. May I ask Dr. Harmony, any last minute words that you would like to leave us with before we say goodbye for tonight?
Yeah. Don't give up. Truly, truly know that when you feel like you can't take any more, that this breakdown is your breakthrough. And you're not going to collapse and die like it feels like. But it truly is an opportunity to let go of your resistance. And when you sink into it and surrender to the process, you'll get through it so much faster.
There is happiness through the rainbow, isn't there? There is happiness at the end. Yeah. And you find it within you. Yeah. Thank
And
you
it's beautiful
so
that
much.
way. So thank you so much.
It is beautiful. It's another level of beauty that we get to discover. And thank you to our producer Kelly Brickle for taking such good care of us here today too. We got a lot of love and thanks coming in as well over in the comments, thanking us for the show, and lots of love coming. We will see you this Friday on Embracing Infinity with Colin Walker, and lots of shows in between on the Sacred Spiral Network. And again, I'll be on the Love Show next Monday, same time, with Kelly Brickle as our guest, because she is also a fabulous numerologist. So we will be talking about love and numbers all together here today. Miss Jennifer McCormick, who's got a beautiful twin flame up in spirit world, who is still connected to her, she's saying thank you so much. Much love to everybody too. So beautiful. So thanks for all the love, everybody, and for being here and joining us too. And once again, Dr. Harmony, it's been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you for your time, your presence, and sharing all of your wisdom and love here today with everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jennifer. It's been a pleasure. My honor.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone that's joined.
Yes. Thank you so much. We'll see you all very soon. Have a beautiful night and sleep with the angels. Lots of love to everybody.